Hey everyone, Sergio here with the Rideshare Guide. What do we say on Show Me the Money Club? Work smarter, not harder. If you aren't using the Solo app, which I have been for the past year and a half, you may be working a lot harder than you need to. Let's change that. Download the app, link your account where you can manage your income, track your expenses, as well as your taxes. Not only that, but you can plan by optimizing your time, make more money, and even guarantee your daily pay with guaranteed earnings. Download the Solo app today. Begin to work smarter, not harder. Link is in the description. Let's get back to it.
Let's talk about our first topic, and that is, would you drive a union? And of course, we want to know, would you? So put in the chat, yes or no, if you would join a union, if it was available to you for drivers. And yes, in California, you now can.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's coming. Governor Newsom signed it into law, and at the same time, he signed, besides AB 340, he signed SB 371, which is...
there goes that insurance.
Which is the insurance. We're going to find out. We're going to test for that, Uber. By the way, Uber, nice try. Nice try. You know, today's Tuesday, Chris. You know what I mean?
It is Tuesday, yes.
Yeah. You know, all the new algorithmic stuff that they throw out, somehow it always happens on Tuesdays. I don't know why.
Don't worry, we got the one in there. But that's
we got one. You know, they're all like they're not going to get it in time. No.
Well, either way, that's in a few topics, so
yeah,
we'll worry about that then, but let's talk about it.
Uber is saying SB 371 is going to lower fares. More people are going to be able to afford to take trips on the Uber platform as riders. So in turn, drivers are going to be busier. It's the same story when they cut the fares on the days of time and distance, right? So they would cut the fare from like $1.20 a mile to $1 a mile. They go, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're going to be busier. I'm like, how does that math make any sense? Anyway, so this is the same thing. They said we're going to hold them to it. We're going to test for this because we have enough screenshots gathered over the last 3.5 years to know exactly what Uber was paying under upfront fares for, let's say, 5-mile, 15-minute trip, right? Well, let's see if the fares do go down. You know what I mean? So, or let's see if the driver is going to pay for this somehow. Well, the driver is paying for this, by the way. The UIM insurance went from $1 million to $60,000 per person and $300,000 per occurrence. That's a huge cut. Be careful, folks. Be careful. But on the other side, with a catch, there's always a catch. Uber said, "Yeah, you guys go ahead and unionize." And I'm going like, okay, cool. So starting January 1, 2026, every Uber passenger trip in California will be covered by UIM of $60,000 and $300,000. $1 million in liability insurance to cover injuries or property damage in accidents caused by the rideshare driver continues. UIM is for the other side if somebody comes and hits you. $1 million in occupational accident and all this stuff. Now, you guys can join a union. In fact, Chris, I sent you the picture. Some driver from LAX sent me that picture. SEIU is taking the lead as being the lead union and sent me the picture. They were literally the next day. They had the vans there collecting signatures. Now, this is how it's going to work if you guys want to unionize. First threshold is 10%. So you guys need to, a union to be designated as the representative of the drivers. And Uber says there are about 800,000 drivers in California. 10% has to approve the union, first of all. Like, who do the drivers, this is the picture right there, who do the drivers pick as their representative union? SEIU is in the lead. This is the SEIU tent and the van. They were gathering signatures right at LAX. Now, my eyesight is shit, but that is really small. However, Chris, I highlighted the parts that you need to read. This is the breakdown of how actually a union can happen in California with rideshare drivers. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen before drivers can unionize. And we should do, what do you call it? A poll on our community page.
There's a poll going on right now in chat. So
There's a poll going on. Well,
can do
I
that.
don't
And of
know.
course, we'll do a community poll too, but first we're going to
Yeah,
do
we'll do a
that.
community poll. So
And it's
please, if you
actually
don't mind, can you read
it's
the
actually
highlighted section?
pretty close right now. We've got 34 votes going on, and it's almost 50-50. So it's real
Really
close. Yep.
interesting.
So make sure you are in that poll because we got quite a few people that are watching right now, and you know, there's
Wow.
only a few people who voted. So go in there, vote, and by the end of the segment, we will share those
Very
results on that. And then, of course, like I said, we'll do a community poll as well if you would join a union.
So yeah, what would it take for drivers to unionize? And I highlighted the important parts.
Yep.
Please
So
go
a
ahead and
group
read.
can seek to be the bargaining representative for an active driver union by collecting signatures from at least 10% of them. At that point, a group would be able to petition for access to names and contact information for all active drivers in California from the state's Public Employment Relations Board, which is designated to oversee the unionization process. With that contact list, the process of organizing drivers would, in theory, become easier. Once a group signs up 30% of active drivers, they could petition the board for union certification. If more than one organization is in the process of gathering signatures, an election would be held to determine which would represent drivers. The law outlines a formula as to which drivers qualify as active based on a medium number of rides they completed during the prior 6-month period, which determines who would be eligible to vote in the election. It is unclear at the point how many active drivers California has, as the number fluctuates and rideshare companies do not release the information. Uber and Lyft will also be required to submit data on active drivers to the state labor board on a regular basis under the new law.
Yeah. So Uber and Lyft has never released names and numbers of active drivers with the excuse that it is not for privacy reasons. They said that's proprietary information. No, it is my information. You should be able to put a list together and send it to whoever wants that list. Number one, because what they don't want to do is they don't want a situation. Well, they didn't want situations like this. So initially, 10% of signatures have to be gathered. Then a union will be designated to represent the drivers. Then 30% of active drivers. Now, we don't know the definition of active. What does that mean? Because they say there's 800,000. 30% of 800,000, Chris, is 240,000. And when they do strikes and stuff like that, like 24 people show up. So getting 30% of 800,000, assuming they're all active, which I doubt that they are, is going to be a problem, right? And then even if
there's a formula to figure out what is active based on a median number of rides completed. What that formula is, though,
and that goes within the past 6 months, by the way, right? So if you did not, then you're automatically going to fall off that list. You know what I mean? So it's going to be pretty difficult to get to 30%. So yeah, there's always catch. So Uber and Lyft got the better deal. Yeah.
So here's the question, though. You could join a union. Let's say you get the 10%, you get the 30%. You're able to do this, and all of a sudden now California actually has a drivers union. What could they potentially change when it comes down to it? Because a lot of it is under a
Prop
law
22.
that requires 7/8 approval change to make any changes.
Yeah. So Daniel Rivas knows a lot about this stuff, and I like that comment. In California, it will allow negotiated pay and other terms. If successful, will be much better than Prop 22. That is correct. But getting those under Prop 22 is going to be difficult, getting those numbers. The important thing here is, when you do unionize, you have union dues. Those are not cheap. They're going to run. They're going to collect union dues from you. And you must understand that even if you do go on strike, you're part of a union. If there's 800,000 drivers in California, and let's say 200,000 join a union, the algo knows who joined the union, who didn't join the union, and then I'm not going to call them scabs. There are people who don't want to be part of a union, and the algo is going to feed the independent contractors that are not part of a union when the union is striking. Yes, it will make a difference. I agree. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a long process to just to unionize, and then to negotiate. and to get better rates, better deactivation rights and things like that. We'll see where this is all going to go, but it's in the process. So SEIU was collecting signatures. I'm pretty sure SEIU is the largest union in California, so I'm sure they'll be able to get 10% for sure. And
yeah, I'm sure they'll probably be reaching out to other areas too, like RDU and things like that. So
I'm pretty sure, yeah. So
right,
we'll see. We'll see if you guys want to unionize. Maybe I'll join the union as
we
a
just ended the
negotiator.
poll. So we had 66 people vote.
Okay.
And no said 52%, 48 said yes.
That's pretty close, bro.
So 50-50 is pretty close.
Yeah. Who would be the leader and what are who would be the leader? I volunteer. I'd be the chief negotiator if it comes to that. But then unions won't touch me. So, whatever.
Well, either way, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that plays out because, yeah, the numbers are difficult. Going against Prop 22 is something I'm interested in to see how, that whole play out as well too. So yeah, we'll see.
There's a good question there. John Jones says, how many of no's are from California? Well, this is also happening in Massachusetts, by the way, not just in California. So
yeah, and not only that, it's also just to get the public perception whether you'd want to join a union or not when it came to being a driver. So it doesn't matter if it's California or not. It's more about public perception and what people are thinking.
Yeah. Well, my initial thing is this job. Let's say it's a job. It is a job. This job was an independent contractor's job, but the reason we're here is because Uber and Lyft sucked the life out of the independent contractor status. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to me says I'm an independent contractor. I can't bid on a job. I can't change the price of a job. I can't decline without AR restrictions. I can't do any of this stuff. All I'm saying is, we'll see. We'll see if the union is going to be doing a better job. Now, in Seattle, Washington State, they didn't have a union. They had the Washington Drivers Union, which was not your, typical legitimate union, but they went to the city council and they were able to do. But then it's much smaller state, much less drivers. California is the big elephant in the room. So we'll see. We'll see where this is going to go.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.